calling you to kind of give you an update on the dumpster Cummins, and I just sent you a picture here. I want you to open that up so we can look at that together.
You didn't. Is this a joke?
No, sir.
Dude, wait a minute. I know you were joking about hood stacking, but you actually did it?
Thank you, but oh no.
Yeah, man, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I appreciate all the hard work, but
Yeah.
I thought this was a big. I thought we were.
Oh, that's so funny to get this on video. I honestly, I thought you were gonna absolutely love it, but it is easily reversible, so. All of the valve cover bolts were over tightened or stripped. So I pulled the injector. This thing would not build any rail pressure when we were trying to get it running in the driveway. So, I mean, this head's trashed already, I know that for sure. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I have a super exciting video for you guys today. This one is pretty long and pretty drug out, I'm not gonna lie, but we do get some pretty exciting things done in it. So be sure to watch the whole video. There's a lot of good stuff that's kind of tucked in there. Duramax is getting some major work. Truckmasters dumpster Cummins once again back here at the Dirty Diamond Diesel shop. We're just trying to get this thing where it is a-okay and he has nothing to worry about as far as getting in this truck and doing whatever he wants to do with it. All right, guys, I gotta shout out the Truckmaster Diesel website right now. So Josh owns truckmasterdiesel.com. Basically a website just like any other site that you may have got diesel parts from before, whether it be lift pumps, injectors, turbos, engine parts. Guys, we have it all on this site, and we're actually doing a giveaway right now. So if you spend $1 on the website, doesn't matter what you buy, could be a key tag, could be a shirt, could be a turbo, every dollar that you spend is going to count as one entry to win a Ryan's Diesel Service drop-in turbocharger. Say you buy a turbo because you need one and then you win again, you can opt out and select a $1,000 gift card, or Truckmaster's just going to refund you for buying that turbo. But we're only running this giveaway till December 1st, 2024. So the time is very limited to get entered, guys. Go ahead and head over to the site. If you see something you like, grab it. You're going to be entered to win a free turbocharger of your choice. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be working on Truckmaster's dumpster Cummins once again. We have worked on this truck quite a bit off camera and didn't record a lot of it, but it's been a busy couple weeks. We have a 4th gen here, mega cab truck, getting a heater core. This thing did not have very good heat. So that's kind of what that looks like. It's a full center console truck. Bailey's working on it last week. So we'll probably have it wrapped up today. And it will be for sale. This belongs to our good buddies over at Fessler Auto in Pendleton. Those guys do a really good job in making sure these trucks are in good condition and no major issues before reselling them. So go ahead and check them out. Like I said, located in Pendleton, Indiana. But without further ado, let's jump right into talking about some of the stuff that we did on Truckmaster's P-Pump 24 valve Cummins truck. So to start with, guys, on this truck, in the last video, if you watched, we had problems with the compound turbos. We had the large atmosphere turbo, seal was blown in it, the bearings were shot, and it was leaking oil into the intake, and the truck just obviously wasn't running very good because it was burning its own oil. It was burning lots of oil. And after numerous attempts to try and make this compound setup work, we ultimately decided to just pull the compound turbo setup off of it, and now he is running a single turbocharger. And we put hood stack on it. So this truck should start up and run right now. We were having a problem with the batteries going dead, but we basically pulled the injection pump off of it to have it reflowed and pin timed, because we never really know what the timing was on it. And then we pulled all of the underhood engine harnesses off and retaped all of that stuff. And it is a P-pump truck, so there is a little bit of different stuff going on, like the ECM. We've got it kind of zip tied up there out of the way, so that way it can charge and stuff. And just went through and taped everything up. And like I said, put the hood stack on it. This came off of Mason's race truck. Built a little bracket for it there just to kind of help it stay still. There's a lot of weight on it. Just went through and kind of tidied up some of the wiring. It's definitely not a show truck by any means, but it is something that I wouldn't be scared to show people, if that makes sense. Just went through, like I said, and cleaned up a lot of this wiring. got the shut-off solenoid functioning, so the thing should start up off the key now. It's been sitting for roughly, I don't know, it's been sitting since probably last Friday, so 3 days now, 3-4 days, and the thing should start. He thought it had a parasitic draw, but we're gonna see. Looks like we've got some voltage there. You always got to give it a little throttle.
Music than anyone else, and that's one of them, one night at a time.
Fingers crossed, guys. Let's hope this thing starts. Sitting for 3 days, fired right up. So guys, like we said, we pulled the injection pump off, sent it to have it rebuilt and flowed. The injection pump is flowing 400 cc's at 1800 RPM. So in theory, if this truck had the right injectors and turbo set up, fuel and air basically, it could make 850 horsepower, but it would be limited to that based on what the injection pump can flow. Because the way it works is if it'll flow, every cc that the injection pump will flow, every cc of fuel is 1.5 horsepower. Another thing I did when we got this truck back is I put a fuel plate in it, in the injection pump, and just trying to kind of contain a lot of this fuel. This truck is super smoky, and we also have some new injectors that we're getting ready to stick in it. So right now it has like a 7 by, I don't even know, whatever you would consider. It's a 300 horsepower, so it would probably be like a 7 by 14 or 7 by 16. And we're going to go down to a 7 by 9, simply because I've drove the truck hard enough to know that it will not clean up the whatever's in there right now. There's not enough air. It just won't clean it up. It's super smoky down low, and we ultimately just want this truck to be able to hook to a trailer if you wanted to. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. It's not a crazy horsepower, high horsepower truck. It's not built for that. It's full weight. It's just a pickup truck with a little bit of go fast goodies. However, it does have a fully built bottom end by Miller Engines, has coated pistons. This thing could handle 1,000 horsepower reliably without braking, and the transmission's built for it. So we're not there yet. This thing has like hardly any miles on it since it's been put together, since Josh got it done. And yeah, that's kind of the goal. So today we're gonna put some, I'm gonna take it on a quick drive so you guys can see how smoky it is. And then we will go and put a set of 7 by 9s in it. So let it run here for a little bit longer, but the current setup in the truck is a 300 horsepower injector. Like I said, I don't know if that's a 7 by 16 or what. A 64. I don't know the turbine or the exhaust housing size, so that doesn't really tell you a lot. And a 180 pump that's timed at 20 degrees. So has a fuel plate in it, a 0 fuel plate that is slid all the way back to try and keep it from smoking so much down low. And the AFC housing is functioning. But yeah, let's take it for a drive. I'm not gonna run it real hard. I just want to show you guys how smoky this thing is down low. Still trying to figure out the anteater. TJ over at AirDog is helping me with, he's sending me a tune that he has for his truck to put in this, and I should just be able to plug in the APPS sensor. If you guys notice, when I come to a stop, it downshifts hard because it's just all flat line shifting, so it's basically all speed. My throttle input has nothing to do with when this thing shifts. I'm going to show you guys the injectors that I picked out for the truck. Once again, these are 7x9 diesel auto power. It's an aftermarket body, so we didn't have to pay a core on it. There's an option on there to send your cores in, and you can have them remanufacture your OEM bodies, and they'll resell those. But it's not much more to just buy the aftermarket body. And I'm not super particular on injectors on these trucks just because they're mechanical, and it's pretty rare to have injector issues in these trucks. So diesel auto power, like I said, it comes with some gaskets that you need. It comes with an air freshener. And then here's the aftermarket bodies. Like I said, these are the 100 horsepower, 7x9s. I think for a while that this truck is going to run pretty good on these. I don't necessarily see the point in having a ton of fuel, and you know, I mean, it's like be able to actually drive it and pull trailers and still make a little bit of power. So let's get sticking these things in, guys. Pretty easy to change. All right, guys, we got the old injectors out, the ones that were previously installed. About to stick the new ones back in. Just figured I'd show you guys what this process looks like. You just got to pull the injection lines off. Got to pull the intake horn to get the injection lines off. And then you have to pull all of the exhaust rockers off. One bolt out of the hold down, and then you can sneak the hold down out. You got to slide the feed tube out. We'll just let them sit right there. There's no reason to pull them all the way out. They can just hang out right there. So we'll get these new injectors. We'll get some assembly lube on them, and then we will start getting this thing pumped back together, prime it up, and see how it runs. So these injectors, some injectors are on the nozzle. The copper washers are like pressed to fit, but with these they can slide off. So to keep them from falling off and losing them, you can drop them under the valve cover somewhere. Just take some of this goop here, and that'll just kind of hold that on. And then we'll also wipe some around the O-ring just to help slide that guy in there, so that way it doesn't get, you know, torn or something when we're putting it in. So let's go ahead and get all these prepared and start in the truck. All right, guys, so completely put together. Took me about 45 minutes to do that, get those stuck in. Normally with a VP truck, and a lot of guys are gonna argue and say I should be doing this with the P-pump too, but it's a lot easier with two people to crack the lines and bleed all the air out of the system. But this truck has a really good lift pump on it, and I'm sure it'll start without having to crack the lines. I'm gonna have to crank on it for a little bit. It's a little harder on starter, but it doesn't make a mess either. If it was a VP, I wouldn't even be trying this. Just got a little bit of throttle. Truck has hardly any haze now. Still has some smoke, but not near like it was. So it's idling smoother, I can tell that. There's not a haze of idle like there was before. So let's drive it down the road and see how it drives. I can tell right now the idle's a lot smoother. Like before, I'd just be blipping the throttle here on the converter a little bit. Turn and it would die. This is just a lot smaller of a fuel setup. Keep in mind we have the fuel plate in too, so everything's the same as earlier, just 7x9s now. My brother brother's out hunting this morning. Let's drive over there and see if he's still hunting. I went out this morning too, but was only able to go till about 8:30 and had to get back to the shop. It cleans it right up. Immediately gets into boost, cleans it up. Much better. Yeah, once we get this transmission tuning in here, this thing is going to be a lot more realistic to drive. All right, guys. So once again, I'm in the shop here in the office trying to get a tune ready for Truckmaster's Anteater because it's just flatline tuning right now. So CJ over AirDog gave me all his information that he's got on one of his builds, and I'm able to use that. So what I'm doing right now is plugging in my TPS minimum and maximum voltage. So I've already figured out the minimum. I'm going to show you guys how I do that, and I'm still having problems figuring out why the unlock, it won't let me, some of the parameters it will not let me change. And that's what it's saying it wants to do. So I don't know, I'm just trying to get as close as I can and go back and make these changes. But for whatever reason, it's not letting me do some of this stuff that I need to do. So I don't know what's going on with that, but anyhow, I'll show you guys how I'm figuring out this TPS minimum and maximum voltage. So I've got the minimum done already, and what I've got going on is I've got the signal wire coming off of the APPS sensor on the truck, so that figures out what the minimum voltage is and volt. And what I'm going to do is reach over here and give the truck full throttle to simulate me flooring the truck inside and see what it does. So our max is going to be 3.49. We'll just call it that. So 3.49 is what we'll punch into the computer, hook that wire up, flash the tune, and the thing should upshift and downshift with speed. Oh, so 3.49. And then I got the tire size in there. So I'm going to save this. Design 1. I'll just call it design 2. Okay. So that's saved. I'm not going to close that file out completely, but now I've got to get plugged into it, and then we should be able to upload the tune. So let's try that. All right, guys. So I finally got this software working. I had to switch computers. It's super tricky. I don't know. I'm pretty good with computers, guys, and I've had more problems trying to get this Anteater software working than anything. I just don't have the patience to mess with it. But once you get it dialed in, like you know how to hook up to it and stuff, it's not a problem. But there's just so many variables and stuff that'll slow you down from being able to get done what you want to get done. Like the cable has to be right. There's multiple different versions of this, of the dash, but you can see I've got a TPS reading right here. So that works now. Speedometer works on here. The only thing I don't really care for is the overdrive. So I'm going to try and change that real quick. For some reason, the file that CJ sent me, it won't let me do some of the unlock tables that he got. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read it real quick. It's going to open it. Okay, so the overdrive off. So I want it to downshift earlier at a lower speed. Okay, so it's rote. Turn it off, turn it back on. So let's try that. So I raised the overdrive up some. Well, guys, that sucks. I just got the tune done that I wanted to pretty much call it good with, and transmission line blew. Notice it wasn't shifting. It's like, what's going on? Well, transmission line blew. So here we are now, waiting on the side of the road to get pulled. This truck is never, ever ending. Where do you want it? Where do you want it? I don't know. I mean, it's wherever. Down on the first. It is another beautiful fall day here in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. But we do have some jobs in right now. Got slow there for about a week. Did a lot of deer hunting. It's deer season here in Indiana, and we are big into deer hunting. At least this year we are. But anyhow, guys, Josh's truck, Truckmaster's truck, the people on 24 valve Cummins, Mason just picked that thing up. He's gonna take it home to his place. He's got a big 220 Miller welder, or I don't know what brand it is, but it's a 220 welder. So he's gonna burn. He's gonna have to make some type of custom hitch for that truck, because with the dump bed, the regular hitch won't work. So I don't know exactly what he's gonna do with that, but he just picked it up and he's working on that. We have a Chevy Silverado in for some head gaskets. This truck is already head studded, has head studs on it already, but it looks like it maybe whoever did the job didn't use a very good gasket. The problem with the vehicle is it was towed in non-running, won't make rail pressure, and hydro-locked. And it had coolant on both sides of the engine. So you could pull the glow plugs out of both sides and we had coolant. And the only thing we're thinking that could really happen would be it was overheated and it cracked one of the heads, and it's putting enough coolant into it to where it's getting into the intake and it filled up the other side, or maybe whenever it was running, it was sucking coolant through one side to the other, vice versa. I think it's going to be pretty unlikely that both heads are cracked, but that's basically where we're at with this thing. Is we need to tear it down, get these cylinder heads to the machine shop, and have them pressure check them and see if they can find a crack in them. And honestly, we kind of want them to find a crack so we can know, okay, that's where the coolant is coming from. Another thing we're going to do is check piston protrusion on every cylinder to verify that the hydro locking did not bend any of the connecting rods in the bottom end. And if it did, then we'll have to put a bottom end in it too, or maybe just a rod. But that's pretty much where we're at on this truck. We're just in the teardown process right now, getting it all tore down. We also have some wiring and stuff we're going to go in and clean up before we go back together. My brother Bailey is working on a 17 F-250, I'm sorry, today. This is a 150,000 mile truck that was brought in for a fuel system. It's got three bad injectors, I think, 3 or 4. And customer ultimately just decided to go ahead and do the fuel system. He's going to use this truck a lot. So we're going to throw a new CP4 pump on there, all new injectors, S&S disaster kit, and get him back on the road. Been working on this Cummins a little bit in the background here. Finally get all the firewall insulation done and getting really close on this thing. Got the shock tower deletes on, transfer cases in it finally. Need to get drive shafts made, and then it's pretty much time to start wiring this thing and making something for the water to air intercooler. So slowly but surely making progress on this thing. Gonna do some more videos on it as soon as we can, but pretty much, yeah, let me tear this thing down. Let's see if we can find something wrong with these head gaskets. And if we do, cool. If we don't, then we'll have to send the heads off and get them checked. I don't think I have a set of heads in stock. Usually try to keep a set of Remand OEM heads, but I don't believe I have any for this year. So, yeah, truck had a ton of WC Fab goodies on it. So, looks really nice under the hood. But someone has been in here before, definitely, like I said. You can see it's got aftermarket Dorman exhaust manifolds on it. So they probably, they broke on them. Who knows, guys? It could have been 8 years ago whenever they did all this work. But regardless, we're going to have to tear it down and see why do we have coolant in every single cylinder. So hopefully it is a very easy... so hopefully we're able to verify our diagnostic, and because we don't want to tear this thing apart and then everything look fine, and the machine shop say, yeah, the heads are fine, you know, they're not warped or anything, and then we're like, okay, well, where's the coolant coming from? At that point, we would be forced to believe the only place it could be coming from would be somewhere in the block. So that's where we're at. Tons of rambling. Let's get this thing tore down. I'll show you guys what I find. You guys tell me. So guys, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger with this one. So I started tearing this truck down yesterday, tearing the engine down, and not real happy with a lot of the stuff I saw. All of the valve cover bolts were over tightened or stripped, or a combination of both. The injector hold down nuts were over tightened. Had 2 of those break, which machine shop will be able to get that out if this head's okay. But I had to cut one of them, and then I had to drill one of them out. So I also found something on one of these cylinders. I believe it was cylinder number 4. So I pulled the injector. This thing would not build any rail pressure when we were trying to get it running in the driveway with no coolant in it. That's probably why. So it looks like it got hot enough. The fire was actually going past the crush washer and onto the injector, and it melted a part of the head. You can see all the shavings there. That's where I had to drill that out. I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see that, but it melted like the bottom section of the injector bore. So, I mean, this head's trashed already, I know that for sure. But I don't know what would have caused that nozzle to blow apart, but I'm thinking that's why the engine got so much coolant into the cylinders on both sides, is because it was running. That happened, and it got the head hot, and somewhere in there's a coolant jacket, so coolant started getting into the intake, and then it was sucking it into both sides of the engine, both banks, and it hydrolocked and ultimately died. Even once the coolant was drained and the coolant was removed from the cylinders, still wouldn't start because it's not gonna build rail if that injector is just dumping fuel into the cylinder like that. So I'm gonna leave you guys on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I have some stuff I need to go take care of today, and I kind of feel like this is gonna turn more into an engine than anything. But on the next video, we're gonna show you guys what we find when we reveal taking these cylinder heads off. I hate to do that to you guys and leave you on a cliffhanger like that. So I want you guys to leave some comments down below. I want to see comments down below. What do you guys think we're going to find when we pull that driver's side cylinder head off? Well, guys, I'm headed over to the farm property to unload this core engine we're going to put in storage. But got the LBZ there. I don't know if I've even showed you guys that. I'm going to have to do a separate video on that. Got that truck a couple videos ago. Got a flatbed on it now. Gosh, I suck so bad. I've done so much work to this, I haven't even told you guys. Got a flatbed put on it. I got some wheel simulator covers, new mirror. I got a seat cover for this side. Got new headlights, new cab lights. This thing's looking pretty sharp. Not bad for an old farm truck, boys. Well, the results are in. We got cylinder heads pulled off, obviously, and I've already started to clean them up a little bit. As you can see, we have a massive outside of the bowl spray pattern, probably due to tuning, but possibly something else. I'm not totally sure. Just a hair there, it looked like what might have been a start of a crack, but it's not. Anyhow, cylinder 4, let me think, 1, 2, yeah, cylinder 4, look at that injector bore. So you see the diameter of this one, where that nozzle goes through? Look how much bigger that one is. I've never seen that happen, ever. But I think the cutting effect of the, the cylinder exhaust gas going up in there, I think it got inside of the jacket super hot and cracked. Coolant galley, which allowed coolant to transfer into the intake. Then the other side sucked it in as they were cranking it to try and start it back up. So I don't think it was actually running and hydrolocked. I think the vehicle died because it lost rail pressure due to the injector coming apart, and them just cranking on it, they filled the cylinders full of coolant. My hope is that all these connecting rods are fine. The only thing I can really do without going super deep into it is checking protrusion like we said. So we have a little magnetic dial indicator here, and we will go in and check the protrusion on all the cylinders. And I've already spoke with the customer and told him, you know, there's no way I can guarantee that this bottom end is good. It's kind of a gamble. It's probably okay, But I really don't know for 100% sure until we, put a bike all together and see if it runs good. We can check the protrusion. Hopefully everything looks good, but that's only going to tell us so much. Well, guys, I didn't really expect all of that to happen in this video. It was definitely a long one. Lots of carnage here on the channel. This one, guys, the LBZ here with that whole failure was absolutely insane. I mean, to see that injector ended up, potentially, it cost him a motor. At this point in the video, I'll go ahead and say it, guys. We talked to the customer and he just wants to put a long block in it. So, that right there obviously damaged the head. They got coolant into the combustion chambers on both sides. Bent a connecting rod. Gosh, we can't make this stuff up. These trucks, when it rains, it pours. It really does. And it's just the risk that we take in owning diesel trucks. Obviously, being a shop owner, we see a lot of this. So there's not really anything that necessarily surprises us, but it just kind of gives anyone that watches our content, like, they're just totally scared. They're like, why would I ever want to get one of these trucks? All they do is talk about the problems they have and they're working on them. And you guys got to understand, we're a shop, so we're going to see all the bad stuff. But there's tons of these trucks out on the road that have no issues like this. This is a rare scenario. We get this guy a good long block. He'll probably never have anything like this happen again. Without further ado, guys, that is going to wrap up the end of this video. Be sure to do me a favor and leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. We will see you guys on the next video. I know it's been a while. I'm going to get into posting more frequently as soon as I can. I have a lot of stuff going on in the background right now, but it's all good stuff, guys, and I cannot wait to continue building this channel with you guys. We'll see you.